Hello, I'm Moti Nisani from Wayne State University, Michigan, USA. I would like to invite you to download and read my free online book available here. I shall not spend time talking about my writing, scholarly, and academic credentials. You can check them for yourself here. Now, before we get to the central thesis of the book itself, we must agree on one incontestable fact. The US, UK routinely smear, incarcerate, legally frame, or murder disobedient or defiant foreign leaders. In recent years, for instance, the US, UK, and their vast overseas colonies conducted a vicious smear campaign against Vladimir Putin of Russia, Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela, Daniel Ortega of Nicaragua, and many, many others. Common to all these leaders and hundreds of others is one thing. They try to serve their own people and their country's interest, not the interest of US, UK corporations. Another vicious tactic in the arsenal of the US, UK's rulers is lawfare. They bribe, cajole, and threaten foreign judges, legislators, and opinion makers who then betray their compatriots and depose their own defiant leaders. In recent years, one recalled the contrived legal troubles of the disobedient Imran Khan of Pakistan, Ignacio Lula and Dilma Rousseff of Brazil, Cristina Fernandez de Kirchner of Argentina, or Pedro Castillo of Peru. Three of these five and many others spent time in prison for imaginary crimes. The ultimate sanction, and the most common one, is murder. You said the CIA, otherwise known as the Central Institute of Assassination, or MI6 of the UK, otherwise known as Murder Incorporated 6, to kill troublesome, influential people. By now, thousands such leaders and opinion makers have been murdered in a variety of ingenious ways. We all know that they tried to kill just one leader, Fidel Castro, more than 600 times. A few examples. There is Aldo Moro of Italy, Olof Palme of Sweden, Dag Hammarskjöld, the principal peace-loving General Secretary of the UN, and many others. The list also includes hundreds of African, Asian, and Latin American heads of states and other influential people, such as Patrice Lumumba of the Congo, the indirectly murdered Sukarno of Indonesia, and Salvador Allende of Chile. All this is not part of the consciousness of the general Western public, but it is indisputably true. The impact of such smears, lawfare, incarcerations, and assassination programs on geopolitics are profound. As I'm recording this in late 2023, the world is facing a mystery. The leader of such once powerful countries as France, Germany, Japan, South Korea, or Italy routinely betrayed the interests of their people and humanity as a whole, instead serving the interests of the US-UK empire. Why would, for instance, Germany stand by and look while it is being deindustrialized and while a gas pipeline that clearly served its interests is blown up by the US-UK? One reason, of course, is the tens of thousands of permanent US occupation forces stationed in these countries. Another reason is that the intelligence services are controlled by the CIA MI6 duo. Yet another reason is grave personal risk. If influential foreigners follow the orders of the Anglo-Saxon masters, they will become rich beyond their wildest dreams and respected by their contemporaries and by most bought and paid for journalists and historians. If they refuse to betray their people, defamation, prison, and death are their almost certain fate. Now, finally, we are ready for the main thesis of the book. What the CIA and MI6 do to troublesome foreign leaders, the CIA, MI6, FBI, MI5 do also to their domestic opponents. My book provides conclusive scientific and statistical proofs that this is indeed the case. The real rulers of the US-UK are murderers that put the mafia to shame. This assertion, if you study my detailed analysis, is as true as the statement that water flows downhill and that gold is a chemical element. Even most genuine dissidents are too timid to admit this, even to themselves, and by doing so unintentionally undermining the chances for a better world. I cannot obviously provide the proof in this video, whose goal is merely to arouse your curiosity and help you arrive at a realistic assessment of contemporary geopolitics. But let me mention just one of the lesser proofs provided in the book. The strength of any scientific theory worth its salt derives in part from its ability to make prediction. In our case, the question is, can one predict who is next on the chopping block? The book provides several such verified past predictions. In addition, here is one quote from the book from late 2022. At this writing, I suspect that popular host Russell Brand and a few others will endure harassment, government and media smears, and intimidation if their defiance continues, and if they remain influential, the pressure will intensify. By September 2023, the courageous Russell Brand is still alive but in deep trouble, as predicted. We live in a world where politicians are legally bribed, where the mass media, publishing industry, education outlets, and the minds of the majority are viciously manipulated and controlled. Add to this the routine smear lawfare incarceration murder program, and the implications are again profound. The most important, peaceful reform is no longer possible. We can only save ourselves and humanity through violent revolution of a very special kind. The kind that employed by Pelopidas of Thebes and his heroic companions. See my website for additional details. Dr. Nisaninet. Thank you for watching this video. If you are not there yet, I hope someday you'll join us in building a more free, sustainable, just, and peaceful world.